Oh, hello. Sunday, 29 May 2016, 2:12 p.m. So I'll just make a video. Just like this light. This light looks good. Like it's not like too bright or too dark. It's a nice light, huh? Looks like a nice light. Yeah, doesn't. Yeah. Skin looks okay. So, vanity. So I've been sort of doing this kind of just seeing videos on mental health. I'm seeing a video by someone called Richard Grannon, Spartan Life Coach. The name of the video is How to Do Affirmations When You Have CPTSD, Complex Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. So how to do affirmations. And he was talking about NLP. I had to Google that. That's neuro-linguistic programming. So how you can use words, language to change the way you think. I mean, that sounds very cliched, but actually, he goes into it in a bit more detail. So, I mean, you can only do so much, I believe, with that. I mean, if you really want to, there's a therapy part where you go deep into your memories, your memories, and look at all those traumatic events in your life and try and deal with them, or I don't know, just see them in a kind of detached way, so you can look at painful events and just look at them, so that's difficult. But this other stuff, and those experiences might have created negative self-talk, or just things. So anyway, I'm just learning. I am beginning learning. There's this other page called someone called Louise Hay. Apparently a lot of people are talking about this person, and she does all these positive self-affirmations. So I'll link her website. I'll also link the video by Richard Grannon. So like on her website here, I chose self-esteem. I mean, people people might think this is cheesy, and he talks about it, like, oh yeah, probably think this is cheesy, but stuff like life supports me in every possible way. Oh, I don't know. All is well in my world. All is well in my world. But when I say that, no, that's bullshit. This is what Richard Grannon says in his video. He's saying, if you say something positive like that, your inner voice is going to say, no, that's bullshit. So that's what you have to sort of work on or deal with. Therapy is difficult. I'm doing self-therapy at the moment, but I'll be seeing a new psychiatrist. I don't know if I'll be continuing to see her. This is my first appointment. Maybe she might be able to give me referrals to therapists, or group therapy, something like that. I think I need to go to group therapy. I think my issues are, so far I've come to understand, childhood trauma. That's one thing. That's a lot of the issues are there. Mostly unresolved or unprocessed childhood trauma. A lot of unprocessed. because that's mostly what I can think of about my issues. And also like I have a fear of working. And I have a serious fear of working. That's stopping me from getting a job. So, oh yeah, in the video he talks about how, you know, we find it very hard to face reality, but don't run away from reality. Face it. It's much better, even though it's painful and scary. It's much better that you face reality. So reality is not just internal; it's an external reality. Like one thing this Richard Grannon, what he says is like the reason someone can be depressed is not because they're thinking, but it's not because they are wrong. It's because the external circumstances in which they are in is causing them to feel depressed. So let's say, I'll give you this is the example that's coming to my head. Let's say if you were a slave and you were in a condition of slavery, you were being oppressed and mistreated, and if someone said, oh, why don't you change the way you think about this? It's like, no, that's just bullshit. The reason you're feeling depressed and angry or whatever is because you're being mistreated, you're being oppressed. So the external environment is causing you depression or whatever, so what do? You can try and change the external environment, if fight for change. Or you can't just always change your internal voice and say, oh, it's you. No. Sometimes people might have disordered thinking where they're not thinking properly about reality, but we should also understand that the reason people can suffer is because their reality is causing them to suffer, and that their suffering is a reasonable, logical response to their reality. So that's going to be tricky too, because for me, like, if I talk about my fear of work, why am I afraid of working? I don't know. It's just like I'm afraid of being independent. I'm afraid of being responsible for my own life, my own well-being. I'm afraid of responsibility. I'm afraid of that's what I can think of at the moment. But I'm also afraid of, I guess I've had bad experiences in the past where maybe I've suffered bullying. And I think bullying is really, that's probably another issue I have to deal with, is bullying from childhood. Not like other kids would bully you, call you names and things like that. You might think, oh, that's just what children do, but those kind of experiences from childhood where you're being bullied, where people are making fun of you, or people yell at you, where you feel shame and humiliation, right? I remember once when I was in a class, and I think I was very young. I was like in year 1 or preparatory or whatever, and there was this kid next to me, and I think I was bullying the kid. I don't know what it was, but I told this to a counselor. I think I was holding that kid's hand, and I thought the kid had a cute hand or something, and I was like crushing it, and I think I was being a bully. All right, I don't know where that came from, but that's. And that kid cried and told the teacher, and then the teacher called me up. I've always saw myself as a good kid, or like so when I rarely got punished at school, because I'm always a bit of a conformist. So I got called to the front of the class, and I was made to stand in front of the class with my hands up like that, and I just found that to be so humiliating and shameful. maybe I deserve to be punished. But the point of saying, what I'm saying is, that's just one example. Other examples are like, people used to make, all these kids used to make fun of my ethnicity. Like, these were like Indian or Pakistani kids. They used to make fun of me and say, oh, they were these like, in India, there's this state called Malabar. And people who come from Malabar are called Malabaris. And they have just the way they speak or something. And like I come from Sri Lanka, and we speak Tamil, and Malabari or Malayalam is the language. Tamil and Malayalam, they're similar, but they're slightly different. And there are Tamils in India as well, but I'm from Sri Lanka, so anyway, so the languages sounded similar, and these I think these are mainly Pakistani kids, like in the apartment block where I live. They used to just make fun of me. Oh, you're a Malabari, you're a Malabari. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not one of those people. Like, so I was like, no, don't call me one of those people. I didn't want to be seen as a Malabari, because apparently these people thought being a Malabari was a bad thing or something. It's like you were a second-class citizen, or like, let's talk about you were like a lower-class person. You're a subhuman or something. So I felt a lot of shame. I remember feeling so much shame, and like I really did not like these kids calling me this Malabari thing, and I just felt an incredible amount of shame and guilt, and I really wanted to tell these people, no, I am not that. I'm from a different country. No, you got it wrong. So obviously, I mean, it shouldn't matter what these people were saying. Being from Malabar or whatever, I mean, that's all just bullshit. I'm not saying it's these kids were right, or I'm not defending them. What I'm trying to say is, I felt shame, and that sort of shame maybe has carried on where I because of those kind of experiences where you're made to feel like less than. Maybe that as an adult, I've always felt like, oh, I'm less than other people or something. You know what I mean? So there are all these childhood trauma issues and things like that. A lot of shame and guilt. Yeah, about the bullying thing. Yeah, I don't know I don't think I ever bullied a kid afterwards after that shameful experience. But yeah, I'm not a bully. Like I actually, there's another time where I was in a bus and there was this other kid. Yeah, he would also make fun of, like, this was an older kid, all right. And we used to go to school by the bus. The bus would come and pick us up. And this is when I was like maybe 10, 11. Something around there, and I used to sit with this friend and in the bus, and this kid who was like from India or something. And this is where I was when I was living in the United Arab Emirates, and there were all these expatriate people, and mostly from the Middle East and subcontinent. Those are my, like, the group I lived around. A lot of Filipino people, a lot of African people. Yeah, these were the people I went to school with. Indian people, and so Arabs. Filipinos. I had a Kenyan friend. I had an Iranian friend. I had a friend from Egypt. I had a friend from India. Yeah, all my friends were like from these different places. Anyway, from Burma even, yeah. His dad was very rich, but anyway, so I was this kid. He would also call me Malabari or whatever, and I was on the bus, and he used to bully me. And this is gonna be so weird, but I used to like being bullied. This might have something to do with something else. This might have something to do with why would I like being bullied? Well, I found it to be a turn on. Like I said, this is a This is a different video, people. Anyway, I don't want to confuse the subjects, but no, that might have to do with something with power. I think bullying has to do with power, where if someone bullies you, you feel powerless. Something to do with power. As you can see, I really haven't done much analysis on this, but I feel very confused and triggered right now. I gotta relax. See, this is what I gotta do. I gotta sit down, methodically dissect these emotions, these experiences, use words to describe them so I don't feel confused. You need language. Use language. Use the words, connect the dots, make sense of this, so it's not like this mush, like this fog of. This is what therapy involves: describing your experiences, trying to deal with reality, and it's a day of work. So I gotta still fill out that disability application. I mean, I don't feel too good about filling it. I feel kind of like, I feel like I should be going out and working. I feel like this is, I feel like, but the thing is, if I was gonna be honest, I mean, it's really hard for me to actually go out and actually do the, like, be around people and do work and so I feel like I'm caught in this kind of double bind. I googled double bind. What the hell is a double bind? It's like you have two choices which are equally not good. So, but I think if I fill out the disability application, and even if they don't accept it or whatever, maybe they might be able to change, like, what they require of me. Maybe they might make it a bit more bearable, where I don't have to look for full-time work or whatever. I mean, I'm being honest. I mean, I think I'm being honest. I don't think I'm lying. It's not like I'm like, yeah, I want to go work. I know exactly what I want to do. Yes. It's not like I'm like at the really ready to go out and get a job. A fear of getting a job can be psychologically debilitating. It's like you fear. Why are you afraid? I don't think. Yeah, another thing I've learned about myself is I tend to invalidate my own feelings a lot. No, I think I should. And also, like, when I meet people, and like the employment consultant, when looking back on it, I think she was very invalidating of my feelings and my experiences. She wasn't. She was very judgmental. Like, I feel like she was. That's why I became very defensive, because I have feelings, and I felt like I don't want people to invalidate my feelings. Whether my feelings are rational or not, the fact is I do feel them. So I don't want them to be. I think there's always a logical reason why you feel something. It might not be connected to reality in that particular moment. Okay, let's say you walk out of the house and you feel afraid, and there's nothing in the environment to be afraid of. But so it might be objectively you can say, oh, well, your fear is irrational, but what I might be responding to is a memory. Like, maybe going out triggers memories in me, and those memories stimulate fear, right? So there is a logical relationship between why I'm afraid. It's like I'm being triggered by the idea of going out or just walking out of the house, triggers a memory in me that in the past did create fear. There's a reason why the fear existed, and that memory is causing me to fear now in the present. But the thing which caused the original fear is not in the environment, but the environment is triggering a painful memory. So, I mean, that seems kind of intuitive. That sort of makes sense in a common sense kind of way. I haven't really read it, but it seems to make sense. Oh, my face feels bad again. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna work very hard on my diet. All these titles for these videos. What should I call this? Therapy stuff.